Okay, so this is the Eagle Mustangs versus the Rocky Mountain Grizzlies in our regional championship. I'm going to be doing a voiceover on team play, what I saw on the field, what I see watching film now, and those kinds of things. So right off the bat, she kicks it into my area. It was a really good located kick. It was in between. We couldn't figure out whether I should get it, whether Liz should get it, so I was prepared to get it off the bounce, but the bounce didn't go where I had thought it went, and so Alyssa ended up getting it. It was just kind of bad communication. So Alyssa ended up taking it into contact. The way our kickoff is set up, it should be the two people that were up front that would be following Alyssa into contact, but the way this kick went, I had to race to support her, and I was just trying to clear her off and hopefully get her hands out, which ended up working well. So okay, and right here you can see they had matched numbers, so Meg decided to cut in, try and get something working, then Paige went back inside. Here was kind of a scary moment because Paige cut back in and kind of left the two supporters behind because they were prepared to help Meg on the ground. As Paige got down, you can kind of hear it on film, I yelled at her to get back up, to release the ball and get back up. You can hear me say, I don't know if she heard me or not, but she did, and it was the right decision because our support was not there, so it was a good ball. So following the try, it was my job to make the conversion, but if you look at my body language, you can see that I'm taking too wide of an angle, and I should have moved my chest and my hips a little bit more in because the ball ended up going right outside the pool. It was a good ball, but I just took the wrong angle, so it was just a little bit unfortunate, but that's okay. On kick restarts, we set up 4-2 so that we can kick to our strong side. We have our timing down. We work so much on our timing. We set up 7 yards from the 50 so that we can time off Alyssa's kick perfectly to hit that line at full speed. It works pretty well for us. We have some fast girls on our team that are able to pressure them on defense or go and get that ball for us. So in this situation, we were able to cause a knock-on Eagle, and then he played advantage, but we weren't really going anywhere, so we just went back to the scrum. So for this scrum, the first time we went through, our prop drove straight up, and so he gave us a warning, but as a 9, I really felt the pressure right here from Kanani, the other scrum half. So going into the second redo of the scrum, I needed to get that ball out quick because I could feel the pressure of the scrum half behind me. So I just really worked on that one to get a quick ball out. The pass from the fly half to the center, they just didn't connect there, and it was unfortunately a knock-on us. So going into this scrum, I knew that Eagle was probably going to try some play since it was in the middle of the field. They were probably going to switch the ball. Kanani, their 9, she likes to run the ball a lot off the scrum. She likes to pick and go. So I was just covering over the top of the scrum, but I also knew that they were probably going to go fast, and so I needed to put some pressure on that 9. Whether I caught her or not, that pressure just needed to be there so I could try and give my back line and the scrum some time to be in the play and not let them just take full advantage of us. I will say right here, I probably could have done a better job committing to that tackle and not just letting my feet fly over my body and actually getting my shoulder into her. Following that pursuit, it was the job of the backside to react to whatever play they had going on, and I think our reaction time was a little bit slow, but I'd say overall we did an okay job. But following this play, we really needed to spread out, and we had about 4 girls in the breakdown right over here and 2 or 3 trying to cover their 5 girls. So in this situation, you can hear me calling for them to spread. I was really just slow playing, and I was really just hoping after this tackle right here that I would get some girls over there. And I had enough inside pressure to hit the tackle right here and not let her outside of me, which was my main goal on the outside, is just to let no one outside. They fired up here into the middle of the field, and then we were able to cover those tackles and work to get the not releasing call. So we were able to kick for touch here.
Kick the touch-off penalty. Line out Ricky.
So going into this line out, I know that Eagle, normally they don't jump at all, and then they have their 3 people in their line out just crash on me when I get that ball so that I feel pressure and pass it out quicker. But right here they had a 2-man lift, and that caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for the fact that they were going to be in front of our girl, and so when I threw the ball, it needed to be a little bit higher, or we needed to scoot a little bit more forward because they just got their hands in front of it. But luckily, when that ball went to the ground, they knocked it on. Once again, going into this scrum, I knew that Kanani was going to pressure me, so I didn't really care how nice the ball was when it came out. I just needed it to come out and get to my fly half. And luckily, she ran a great line and went almost all the way to the try zone. I worked my butt off to get there and support. I was looking for the pop, but I think collaboratively, we didn't think that the pop was gonna work very well, so I just covered it and we were able to reset and get some phases in. I think right here we were trying to stretch the ball out to the edge, and they were just able to cut us off, so we were a little behind here. So when I got that ball, I knew Alyssa and Reese, we didn't really have any depth because we didn't have a lot of time, so I just went into reset. Right here, I'm not sure why Reese didn't just go play fly half. Luckily, Paige was able to come in and cover the first receiver. And then we had to do the same thing again because we just didn't have time. But then I bumped out to get that first receiver so we could really start getting our flow back. Again, we kept trying too hard for the lines, but right over here, I saw that it was a 1-on-1 on the outside, and I knew that I could pick it up, try and take the person that was covering pillar or A-gap, and then pop it off to the person outside me, Meg, and she was able to take that line and cut back inside. This time when I was kicking, I knew that I had to correct the angle that I accidentally did last time, and I was able to correct it and make my kick here. You just can't see it on camera. For this second restart, we also had a 4-on-2 structure, and for this one, I think Alyssa right here, she's calling that we want to go a deep kick, and her kick placement here was absolutely perfect because it bounced first and then it went out right by the try line, so it was going to be a line out, but Alyssa was smart and knew it was short time, so right after this, the sir called the half. Just like our other kick restarts to start this half, we had a 4-on-2 structure, 7 meters back from the 50, hitting the line right when she kicks the ball, and this time we were able to recover it perfectly. But it also helps that the Eagle team was set up on the 45, so it was a perfect little hole for our fastest girl to go in there and just catch it. And then we were able to get back and get some depth, but it looks like right here we were a little bit too wide and our first receiver wasn't able to connect with our second receiver to get that pass, so we ended up knocking it on. Going into this scrum, I had talked at the half with my coach about covering the backside of the scrum and that's what he wanted me to do instead of running up and pressuring. So on this one, I kind of held back and tried to just cover the backside. Unfortunately, we drove upwards in the scrum again, so the 9 was able to just quick tap. Here you see me, I'm kind of far away from what's happening, but in my head, all I'm thinking about is how I missed one of my kicks. So my main goal was to crowd and make sure that she wasn't able to score in the middle. The person with the ball on Eagle, she's shifty, she's fast, she likes to juke people in the try zone to get in the middle. So I just went in there, I planted my feet, I stood my ground, and she just put the ball down there. And it ended up working out. Their kicker, Ella, she actually ended up missing the kick. So my chase ended up working.
And the kick is over.
Throughout the season, I've been watching their kicker, Ella, and her body language, and I've been able to figure out where her kicks are going based on how she sets up. So I kind of knew this one was coming to me. I just caught it and took it straight into contact, which was our normal game plan, so then we could set up to get our game flow going. Unfortunately, I think we were a little bit too wide, and I thought it was a knock-on, but then it was never called, so we just kept going. Right here, that was a great play by Alyssa to drag in that defender and then pop it out to Paige and let her run it in for the try. This kick right here was super embarrassing for me because as I kick, I think I pointed my toe too early, or I'm not really sure what I did, but my foot ended up dragging on the ground, and so I barely made any contact with the ball, and I made more contact with the ground. So it was just kind of embarrassing and unfortunate, but yeah. As we got farther into this game, we were a little bit tired, but we still wanted to keep pressure on Eagle on these kickoffs. So I think right here we did a good job of pressuring them into making some mistakes, but they did a good job of keeping that ball out wide. Right here, my job was just to kind of slow play, protect the outside, and try and pressure them into cutting back inside, which ended up working. They passed the ball out wide and knocked it on, so then we had a scrum to us. I think this is a good marker of, from this point on, the game kind of starts slowing down and getting a little bit more messy. Right here, I put the ball in, and it's not a super clean ball out, but I'm able to get it to our fly half to get some backline play. Here, Paige decides to cut back in again, and I'm able to cover that ruck, and Avery has enough time to spread out and try and get the ball wide. But we don't make that connection to ball in hand, and Eagle's able to kick it and get a really good kick that we got a lucky bounce with to get a line out right here. At this line out, I'm walking up to get the ball from Meg, and I tell Meg to kick it. We're behind the 22, we're in our red zone. Kicking it is just the safest option to try and get more space and have some more room to work on our actual game flow. This line out, I noticed that they didn't set up for a 2-man lift. They kept those 3 in the line out pressuring me, and Meg has a good kick, but it doesn't go as far as we want it, and they have a really fast wing, so she's able to pick it up. Here, I think we have a good defense, and we're pressuring pretty well. We get an offsides call right here, so we're backing up. Here, I thought we were matched up well, but when we came up, we realized that there was a disconnect between me and the person outside of me. I was coming up to make this tackle, but she came in from the outside trying to cut that pass off, and so we had left a 2v1 on the outside that they just took advantage of. Right here is where it really started to get tense because I missed 2 out of my 3 kicks. So it was right now 12-17, and if they scored one more time, then they just had to make their kick to win. Same as last time, we catch the ball, take it into contact. We have a really pretty clear out and we spread the ball wide, but then we start complicating things and going outside of our game plan, and that's when we started making our mistakes. Right here, we end up knocking the ball on, and right around here is when the film cuts off, but it's a scrum to eagle. It is the last play, and we are able to get an obstruction call, kick for touch, and end the game 17-12 as regional champions.